Oh, good morning, beautiful. I just posted a video clip by unknown author. I don't know what television station this was taken from in the 60s, but it's an interview with Malcolm X. And Malcolm X is talking about, what's up, Ish? Your video prompted this, man. He's talking about white liberals, something he talked about pretty often. And when he says white liberals, he's not just talking about white people. He's talking about puppets. What's up, Ghost? He's saying that every aspect of the entertainment industry, to include athletes, musicians, performers, dancers, politicians, media pundits, radio personalities, anyone that can be stuck in front of a camera and is willing to parrot a narrative. These people have been weaponized by unseen puppet masters to influence your thinking. That influence can lead you to believe that there is a massive uprising of white supremacists, or that black people everywhere are rioting in response to Darren Wilson, or Muslim Americans are setting up training camps in the United States and moving forward with plans to overtake the United States. The amplification of these fringe narratives allows people to instill fear in you. And what Malcolm is saying is that these puppets are not leaders. These puppets are manipulators. These people like Jay-Z, Don Lemon, Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan. These puppets are saying what they're told to say to make you fearful, irritable, anxious, so that you're more easily manipulated. You become malleable in a state of panic. You become malleable in a fight or flight response type of mindset. And this is well known. It's well established. They did experiments in the 60s with these Nazi doctors we brought over from Operation Paperclip to learn how to crack minds. You think about computer hackers learning how to find backdoors and entryways into code. The mind is the same thing. It's a biological computer that links you with your soul, whatever, the body-soul connection, whatever you want to call it, Descartes. This is easily programmable, and it's well known how this programming is done. Malcolm X knew. Malcolm X was telling people how this was being played, that your masters are using puppets within your community, elevating them to the status of leaders, and having them broadcast a narrative to you to make you more manipulable. This isn't unique to the black community. I used Bernie Sanders as an example. Bernie Sanders got college kids on board with socialism, knowing that they were going into debt, that they were disenfranchised with the political system, that they wanted change. Bernie Sanders was used to garner support for the DNC so that they could put Hillary Clinton in the White House. If you think that Bernie Sanders is not a puppet, I don't know where to start with that conversation with you. These puppets exist in all aspects of our life. The people whose voices are the loudest have the most to lose, because once people see behind that veil, it's disaster. Malcolm X knew this. What happened to Malcolm X? He tried to tell people that they were being manipulated and that their masters were behind this manipulation. They were controlling these puppets. What happened to him? What happened to Martin Luther King when he said that people should be judged as individuals rather than collections of people or groups of people in categories that we place them in? What happened to Abraham Lincoln when he said, well, this Bill of Rights was written for the individual. This was not written for a certain type of man or a certain type of woman. This was written for individual human beings, and all citizens are entitled to these rights. What happened to him? What happened to John F. Kennedy when he made that speech about secrecy being repugnant in a free society? And that there were secret societies that had infected our government, that had infected politics, that had infected the media. What happened to him? What happened to Joseph McCarthy when he said that socialists and communists had embedded themselves in our political system, in our media, in our intelligence agencies? What happened to him? When you challenge authority, when you challenge the military-industrial complex, when you challenge this, when you challenge the masters, when you shine the spotlight on the masters, and go one step further and highlight the mechanism that the masters are using to control the puppets, to control your mind, something bad happens to you, reliably. This is what Malcolm X is talking about in that video clip that I shared. Thank you again, Ish, for posting that. I saw that this morning and it got the wheels turning. People that expose the bankers, people that expose religious organizations, people that expose nonprofit organizations, people that expose those at the top of these pyramids to whom resources flow. If you think your tax dollars are just circulating back into your community, once more, I don't know where to start in that conversation with you. This device, this thing that I'm using to communicate with you, the thing you're using to observe me, the things you're using to access information have never been more powerful. Those Arkenstones that you hold in your hand make you the master of information. Social media, connectivity, light speed communication has made us more powerful than ever before. And it's as if we got the sword of Gryffindor and suddenly forgot who the enemy is. All of a sudden, we can't speak his name. All of a sudden, he who must not be named is nowhere to be seen. The people that these puppet masters place in opposition to those who are currently in the minority. Once the power shift happens, once those poles shift, the trend is reversed. All of a sudden, those people who were the opposition are now on our team. And this happens again and again and again and again. But it's the same people throwing the switch. It's the same people deprioritizing real information in your newsfeed. It's the same people lobbying against YouTube's sponsorship of people providing objective information. It's the same people going after independent journalists who expose CNN when they're calling up high school classmates of Brett Kavanaugh to see if they're willing to come forward and make an accusation. It's the same people. And they drive us into these camps because they know we're either intuitive thinkers or rational thinkers. I can exploit those vulnerabilities. I can hack that brain. And here's how I do it. I polarize every issue. I make it a 1 or a 0. You're with us, you're against us. You're in, you're out. You're good, you're evil. I make it a binary decision. And those binary decisions are tailored to react with one side of your brain or the other. Once you peek behind the curtain, you see how this game is played. You see the strings. You understand that these people are not representatives of the communities they claim to advocate for. How could leftists claim to be allies of the LGBT community, whatever that means, while at the same time defending Islamists and refusing to talk about the acid attacks and knife attacks in London, and refusing to talk about this county fair yesterday where hundreds of Somalis are assaulting people and running them out of town. This does not fit. You are being manipulated. Principles begin at the highest point imaginable. This is the intellectual elite. They examine situation after situation after situation in a historical context and a modern context and decide what principle allows for consistently good behavior across the sum of all of these games. That analysis yields rules for life. Principles start at the highest imaginable extreme, the archetype, the hero, the Arkenstone, and are disseminated. They become more and more muddled as they get down to the level of the everyday man, the vulgar language speaking man. You wonder why President Trump speaks the way he does. Because not everyone is as smart as you are. Because not everyone reads at an 8th grade level. Not everyone can interpret text in a way that's meaningful. Not everyone can think critically. When he's speaking, that broadcast is reaching the ears of everyone from the guy who's cooking your fries to people who are tenured professors. You're speaking the fry guy's language. The university professor knows exactly what you're saying several levels into it. And it's repulsive because it's vulgarity. But you're maximizing your appeal. You're speaking to the broadest possible audience. Scott Adams talks about this quite a bit in his podcast, people who understand persuasion. You can't speak Chinese to an audience that speaks Korean. You need to speak a language that both of them understand. In the United States, that's memes. That's internet slang. That's short form. It's condensing a book into 240 characters. That's how the common man speaks. If you're listening to this, I doubt that you are in that category. But you have to understand that you are in the minority. It's a bell curve of intelligence. At the center, in the United States at least, IQ is about 100. You slide down that distribution curve to the tails, you're getting up around 160. This is the Stephen Hawking's of the world. God rest his soul. Down at the opposite end, these are people who are unable to tie their shoes. There are fewer people at the tails of this distribution than there are at the center. Most people are clustered around the mean, in the 110 to 90 range. Someone with an IQ of 90, for reference, is going to have difficulty folding a piece of paper into thirds, placing it in an envelope, closing it, writing the correct address on it, and a return address. That's someone with an IQ of 90. There are millions of them in the United States, and some of them vote. So you have to break information down to the lowest common denominator and disseminate it. This is what the media does so effectively. They conjugate verbs, they use certain colors, they use facial expressions to manipulate the minds of those most vulnerable to manipulation. And they know that regardless of where you are on that intelligence spectrum, you are just as malleable. I just have to be more effective with my packaging. Malcolm X knew this. Martin Luther King knew this. Joseph McCarthy knew this. Abraham Lincoln knew this. You know who else knows this? And I hate to insert this guy into every fucking thing I talk about, but I could not be happier with the president, particularly after that UN Assembly speech. America rejects globalism. America rejects collectivism. We reject socialism and communism. We reject these ideas that destroy lives, destroy countries, and result in poverty, famine, and ruin for the people who adopt these ideas. We reject it. We embrace liberty. We embrace freedom. We embrace independence. We embrace the elevation of the individual to the highest echelon of society. And we are no longer going to be subject to manipulation. Donald Trump gets it. He gets the same thing that Kennedy got, that Malcolm X got, that people like Thomas Sowell talk about, people like Larry Elder talk about. There are people who get it, and those people are now being given a voice through these amazing communication devices. Keep spreading that information, because we may not always have these devices available. We may not always have internet access. These social media giants, Zuckerberg and the like, are puppets of the same masters I described before, the same masters Malcolm X describes. They are willing to clamp down on speech that opposes the agenda of the masters because they themselves are puppets. Facebook is not Facebook. Facebook is LifeLog. This was a CIA creation to gather intelligence for widespread data collection. LifeLog is a tool of the National Security Agency. LifeLog is Facebook. The day LifeLog ended was the day Facebook launched. Do you think that's coincidence? I don't think that is a coincidence, personally, because it's the same thing. So your tax dollars funded the research and development that resulted in the technology that is Facebook. And somehow Facebook is a private corporation that is collecting your data and selling it to advertisers. And at the same time, because you're not using the tool in the way that they want you to, you're not using the tool to volunteer every aspect of information about your life. You're using it to spread awareness. You're using it to red pill your family members. You're using it to talk to people about things that the media won't talk about because, once again, those puppets are controlled by strings. Their mouths are controlled by strings. You're not using the technology the way we wanted you to use it. So we're going to silence you. We're going to ban you from these platforms, and we're going to shut them down if we have to. Because you don't challenge those that hold the strings. Thanks again for that video, Ish. Oh, wait, let me read these. Sorry, this fucking sun's in my eyes. Intelligence community. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ish. I know you get this shit. I've seen your live streams, man. I appreciate that compliment. Sonny, yeah, I saw that. So I've only seen that run in the New York Post. I've not seen second source, third source from anything that, well, it's funny. 4chan to me is about the most credible news source there is. I've not seen the Anons take a hack at that yet. So if I see a public statement from a senator who took these statements, that's good enough for me. But all I've seen is that story by Joe, whoever his name is, the one that I posted. It's in my story. But yeah, I saw that. Obama was good for that. Oh yeah, man. So was Bush. It's not just Bush. It was Bush Jr., Clinton, Bush Sr., and then we had Obama most recently. They're master manipulators. Speaking with the proper cadence like a good politician. Reading from the prompter without letting you know I'm reading from the prompter. I'm smooth and even and measured. And you can't tell I'm lying because I'm speaking with confidence. And the people behind me are smiling and applauding and holding signs with my name on it. It's a game. You understand it's a movie. I know you do. Hear that speech? Oh, fuck, man. That UN speech? I've never been more satisfied with the vote I cast for him as president. I've never been more satisfied. To see him go on what is literally a worldwide stage, a worldwide production, and say, fuck globalism, fuck collectivism, socialism, communism, fuck bankers, fuck these secret societies, fuck your extra governmental organizations, fuck all of those things. We are freedom-loving, liberty-minded people, and we are not going to be enslaved by the crown ever again. We fought a war over this, and you're not catching us in that net again. We will never participate in the global climate accord. We will never participate in anything that eliminates the sovereignty of the United States and our people. It blows my mind how easily people eat that shit up, not understanding that the Revolutionary War was fought for that exact reason. Being ruled from abroad, being enslaved by someone you can't see. Malcolm X saw him, didn't he? You guys have a good day. I don't think there's anything on here. Yeah, DARPA, you're exactly right. That Facebook thing. Airman Armin. Yeah, man, I only have 2 speeds, fast and turbo. We'll see you guys. Enjoy.